So here's some books for those of you that might like to learn more. This is a great one. They're all biased, by the way. This is a great one called The 100-Year Lie. I really like The 100-Year Lie because it's kind of just a list, and it gives you a timeline. It's not a conspiracy. I don't believe, I mean, on some level it is, right? Obviously, these things are on some level a conspiracy, because when you got a board of directors whose primary job is to make your company more profit, then they're trying to find novel ways to make product A link to product B. So, I mean, without thinking they're all from the devil, I mean, I think that on some level, it's just a byproduct of our human nature, you know, to desire more and what have you. But it goes through the timeline of just kind of how this happened and how it unfolded and how this problem led to these new chemicals to deal with the first problem, which then led to these ones to deal with the combination of problem A and problem B. You know, it just kind of maps it out. But clearly the guy's biased. He thinks it's a poisoned planet. If you think it isn't, you won't like this book. Okay? Toxic beauty. I don't agree with all of the conclusions that the author comes to on this. A lot of stuff in natural health is bogus. There's a lot of bogus stuff out there that says it's organic and it really isn't. Or, you know, I mean, there's just so much lies in marketing. So what's the answer to that once again? Just don't buy pre-packaged, pre-made stuff, you know? I mean, that's a big one. But this is a big one for me. One of the things I love about my wife is she doesn't really use a lot of product, except on her hair. She's so self-conscious about her hair. She's got pretty hair. It's just very thin. And I'm like, Ray, so what? You be hot bald. Don't keep putting all that gunk on your head, you know? But she tries to make better choices with it. But nonetheless, you know, be aware that all that stuff has bioaccumulative effects in the body, and this book really outlines it pretty good. This is one of my favorite books on things like aspartame and MSG and what have you. Blaylock is a neurosurgeon, so he should know. And he, you know, because he does brain surgery on people, and their brains have these rotted spots in them, and the studies have shown it comes from things like aspartame and MSG. It's in everything. Which is in everything. Good luck finding a pack of gum that doesn't have it in there. It's pretty hard. It's there, but it's hard. And it's in everything now. It's in most of the protein powders and weight loss things. And ironically, some of these big GNC type of detox programs have all this other, I mean, it's like, because there's just no honesty anymore, right? That one's called Excitotoxins, the taste that kills. By the way, they're all kind of dry reads, you know? I mean, it's a lot of data and facts, but they're written in such a way that, you know, most people of relative intelligence will be able to get through them. But they're important, you know? For me, it's like at this point, I always look at patients and go, you don't need to read them. Just stop eating that stuff, all right? What are you waiting for? You know, just knock it off. This is one of the best ones I've ever seen. I've had the pleasure of sitting and eating with Jeff Smith a couple of times, but genetic roulette is one of the best documented, researched things out there on GMO. And, you know, there's a lot of things that my libertarian brother Glenn Beck says that I agree with. He's way off base on this one. He thinks, man, just blend DNA all you want to feed the masses. I mean, that's just insane. That's insane. No provable problems yet. No, that's just simply not true. There's tons of provable problems that have already shown up. And the thing is with this one, you know, it's one thing if you're doing funky things to cows, because, you know, if they break out of the corral, they can only breed with so many other cows, right, before you catch them and pin them back up. When you start dealing with this in plants, you know, the wind blows wherever it wants, right? During the Dust Bowl, Oklahoma dust fell on the White House desk, you know? And once this genie's out, it's out. But there's all kinds of problems, especially those of you who suffer digestive disorders. This is probably why. The GMO stuff. This is a good one, also a Blaylock book, but it's kind of an overview. Once again, pretty dry read, but health and nutrition secrets. That's a good one too. So, I mean, there's lots of good ones. You could, if you Amazon these and just kind of look through a few others, but I would say it's worth your while to do it. Or you can take the expedient trip to start watching some documentaries on this, you know? Like we said last week, It's not that the TV watching is all bad. If you're doing it to somehow enhance your life and gain your education and change your community, so be it. But if you're watching, you know, The Walking Dead and you're watching these CSI movies and stuff, I mean, that's just mental heroin, you know. You're just, you know, you're just going to turn into a goo bar if you keep watching that. All right. So I'm going to pause right here. Any questions on what we've covered thus far? Anything that pops in your head? Because part of the thing is I'm willing to do more classes on specific topics, but we'll narrow them down specific. Like, hey, can you give me some information just on maybe the beauty products or whatever? But yeah, most of you already know what my conclusion is going to be. It's just there is no safe way to smear poison on your body or put it in your body. I mean, it's just, come on. I mean, what are you doing? You know, it's your life. It should matter.
So specifically to that, because I've tried to research what is good for you as far as to use.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
For like beauty products?
Yeah, because I do have problems.
Yeah.
You know, there's a vanity source, you know, that goes into that.
Yeah.
So how do you go about, you know, I do get wrinkles, I do get gray, I do have liver spot, you know, those kinds of things. I don't want to, that's not my first impression I want people to do. So what do you use that would be at least better?
Well, I mean, here's there's kind of two ways to look at these types of questions, and we could just apply this to bring up multiple topics, and my answer will be much the same. The challenge is when we get to a point where we're having certain things going wrong in our bodies, you know, we were like, okay, what can I do to offset 30 years of doing something wrong? And it's like, you know, maybe not much. So it really comes down to just saying, hey, you know, that thorn in your side, you're going to need to rely on my grace about it. And I get it, vanity plays a role in it, which was why I showed that video I showed last week. I mean, a lot of the vanity things that drive our culture are fake. I mean, totally fake. Photoshopped, airbrushed, fake. But I mean, it's hard to overcome that. I mean, I think once again, these are some of those things that you're going to have to find some prayer time on it and what have you. Now, with that said,